They have also asked one more question. Somewhere वो कभी न कभी आएगा. Present circumstances उस समय का. तो उस समय तो न्यूज़ में कुछ था कंट्रोवर्सी. Are they defendable in present context? इतने सारे टर्म को कौन डिफेंड करेगा? कि इंडिपेंडेंस जुडिशरी का मतलब और उसका अकाउंटेबिलिटी से कैसे लिंक करेगा? हाउ ही विल लिंक विथ अकाउंटेबिलिटी? दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पॉलिटी तो एंटायर पॉलिटी है, लेट्स से दिस. देन गवर्नेंस एंड सोशल जस्टिस, दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट. क्वालिफिकेशन डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन दे कीप आस्किंग. इट इज बेसिक क्वेश्चन. मेनी अ टाइम दे विल से व्हाट आर द ग्राउंड्स ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन. प्रीलिम्स टाइप का भी क्वेश्चन आता है. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. ऑलमोस्ट एवरी ईयर ए क्वेश्चन इज आस्क्ड ऑन फेडरल पॉलिटी. On a given day there can be 2-3 questions also. Basically if you take let's say topics, if you talk, I will skip strategy et sectors. चलता रहेगा. Right. Strategy etc. I want to be made in very direct, right? If you take topics, historical underpinnings, then making of constitution, etc., the preamble, this sources of constitution, making of constitution, the 4 topics, beginning background topics. So let's say कि only 2 questions they have asked, largely 2 PYQs, and both were in 2016. This so far. One question they ask on Government of India Act 1935. And they have asked one more question on this, the 2 questions on this. Another question they asked was related to preamble. This, it means you should know that कि recent times they have not asked question on them. This, if you see like this, once they ask structural and philosophical aspect, this, and another they have asked in this 2016. What is that question? Right. इसको अपलोड करो और एक बुकलेट यहाँ रखा करो PIQ वाला. This is so they asked that did the Government of India Act 1935 lay down a federal constitution? This a federal constitution. This and then adjective attached to republic. This question was asked, and then thereafter they are asking, are they defendable in the present circumstances? What you have to are they defendable? Then they ask, there will be another question, I guess ki on 35, which is somewhere it will be given. Constitution amendment. One question was asked, structural and philosophical. Where is? वो कहीं पे होगा question कहीं ना कहीं. It is page number 37. तो इसमें पेज नंबर अलग क्यों है? ओके या यस So this is a simple question. This lay down a federal constitution. Discuss. And then they say that कि discuss each adjective to this. तो ये तो आसान है. But उसके बाद क्या है? Are they in the present circumstances? और present circumstances उस समय का. तो उस समय तो न्यूज़ में कुछ था कंट्रोवर्सी. Are they defendable in present context? इतने सारे टर्म को कौन डिफेंड करेगा? This, yes, each you have to defend. Right, this, that is how it is. So that is what I think they have also asked one more question. Somewhere वो कभी न कभी आएगा. ठीक है. They ask structural and philosophical aspect. This, but they have not asked. So our focus will be accordingly, let's say, scant, right? Will not spend too much time on that. This, that should be the approach, because largely you will know that this is very important. This, it may take almost one class, only comparative. तो जहाँ पे importance होगा, we will give focus. जहाँ पे importance नहीं है, we will not give focus. You study from this. The notes that we have given plus Lakshmikant plus other things will help you. Right. This, it is not uploaded on portal. PYQ को पोर्टल पे अपलोड कराओ. It will be shortly uploaded. Just check after some time. Right? This. Why it is not coming here? Huh? ये क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? ये वहां से आएगा. अच्छा. Will you like to attend class there? Right. इस पहला क्लास तो यहीं होगा. दूसरा क्लास क्या आप वहाँ अटेंड करना चाहोगे? जाना आना. Yes, that's why last year I took here, like this year I think we have started a bit early. Is it like that? अक्टूबर में था ना. इस पर पता नहीं, लगता है पहले ही शुरू हो गया. हमने लगा कि पहले ही करते हैं, बट लगता है स्टूडेंट्स हाँ, इस बार ये होगा कि दिसंबर में पहले ही ख़त्म हो जाएगा, तो देन यू हैव टाइम टू फोकस ऑन प्रीलिम्स. ये है. Anyhow, it will take time. Just to tell it, higher it will be taken by Tejal, rest I'll be taking. Basically, you divide it in different parts. You say constitution plus polity. This governance, social justice, civil services. इसमें सिलेबस है, पीवाईक्यू में सिलेबस है. What is syllabus? Okay, it is distribution. Anyhow, एक बार मैं go through हो जाता हूँ इससे, ठीक है. Just to tell you that कि important कि कौन से topics बहुत अच्छे important होते हैं. Yes, तो ये सारी चीज़ें वो लिखा है, right? But let me have a go through this. तो पहला जो टॉपिक है जो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है वो क्या है? Comparative constitution. This you should know that. This चलो मैं ही लिखता हूँ. Anyhow, तो लेट्स सी कि दिस पॉलिटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ये सारा कवर्ड है पार्ट 1 में. तो यू रीड फ्रॉम दिस. Online people, they will be send notes, you can get access. It will take a bit time, they will post it. If you don't have notes, so it will be difficult for you because Lakshmikant will help here only. That's also not that much. This Lakshmikant is just a base. It cannot help you much in mains examination. Like take let's say comparative constitution. कहाँ से लिखोगे आप? This. Right. This. Now it does not help his. उन्होंने दूसरा बुक लिखा है बट वो किसी काम का नहीं है. Sorry to say that. तो governance, social justice and civil service. You rely on part 2 that will give you. This. और ये नोट्स क्लास से ही बनाया गया है. जो क्लास का ही नोट्स है उसी को शॉर्ट में करके. It is updated also. चूँकि ये मेंस के लिए भी just we gave it for mains. It is updated also. तो you rely on that. इतना भी आप जान जाओगे तो outstanding है. This that way. As far as subject knowledge is concerned, आप रट्टा मार लो इसका, पूरा पढ़ लो जो भी लिखा है इसमें. This is how it is to improve your content part because content is very important. जिस लेवल का देखो कंटेंट नहीं होगा तो एनालिसिस नहीं आएगा. और पेपर सेकेंड का स्टैंडर्ड थोड़ा अलग होता है और पेपर जो जीएस पेपर में होता है, राइट. इसका स्टैंडर्ड थोड़ा अलग होगा ना. लास्ट ईयर का अगर इस बार का क्वेश्चन आप देखोगे 2025 तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द नेचर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, राइट. कि क्या उन्होंने पूछा? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी. constitutional morality, and they are writing independence of judiciary and accountability of judiciary. They have asked three things in one question. How constitutional morality will guide independence and accountability? और बच्चे को न तो ये ठीक से आता है और न तो ये आता है, उसको उतना ही आता है जो लक्ष्मीकांत में दिया है, इंडिपेंडेंस मतलब चार्ज कंसोलिडेटेड फंड ऑफ इंडिया, राइट। तो उसको वो पॉइंट्स वाला याद आता है कि इंडिपेंडेंस जुडिशरी का मतलब, और उसका अकाउंटेबिलिटी से कैसे लिंक करेगा, हाउ ही विल लिंक विथ अकाउंटेबिलिटी, getting. So those things can be a bit challenging, and it was very highest level of question, I'll tell you. This is a kind of reminder of 2019 paper. The 2019 paper was also tough paper, you can consider. Anyhow, but as far as source are concerned, we will deal all these things, not a big deal, you can say this. So this will be covered, so you will know all these things. As far as importance is concerned, तो वो पेपर सेकेंड के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बट पढ़ोगे तो पेपर वन में हेल्प करेगा. दिस सो दिस ईयर दे आस्क सिविल सर्विस क्वेश्चन इन पेपर वन, not in paper 2. This. So that way, let's say that. Generally, let's say that the three are important. This constitution polity, तो entire polity है, let's say this. Then governance and social justice, they are important. I will just go through from beginning to end the topics which are important, so that you get at least in this class the idea that ki topics, important topics, let's say this. Important topics. If we start from beginning, it is comparative, let's say that. Comparative constitution. Every year question is asked. This and repeat also. The US, last year also US they asked, this year also they asked. The three, now it will be third year, fourth time US. You should know that. Third or fourth time US, 2 times France, and 3 to 2 times UK. This US, this will find that it was US, it was US, it was US, and again this year 2025. The US is 4 times now. अब at least next year तो नहीं आएगा. This you should know that. So we expected France, although we asked both UK and France in sectional test and mock test, right? But they did not ask France and UK. Students were quite sure that France will be asked. They were very sure about this, seeing the pattern. Because UK they had asked, this UK they had asked, France they asked in 22. It was the cycle of France, but UPSC knows how to break it. Anyhow, but it does not matter. Let's say they have been asking US, UK and France. You can see the repetition, let's say that. It does not matter whether again they will ask US, we have to prepare the 3. US, UK and France. It becomes highly important, but हम पढ़ते ही नहीं है. ठीक, जितना आप ये पढ़ते हो, हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड, मेकिंग ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, प्रियम्बल, ये वो सारा ठीक है. आर्टिकल 1 to 5 मीन्स 1 to 4, देन 5 to 11, कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आता है बस. और जो पढ़ते नहीं है वहां से एक क्वेश्चन. This is what we have to understand. This. So we have to change the orientation. Yes, prelims, separate thing. A bit, we can keep it separate, let's say that. This. तो prelims के लिए वो important हो सकते हैं. That is how you have to see. So this one is, let's say that you can consider. The constitution, then we'll come to fundamental rights. This. और फंडामेंटल राइट्स में भी सिर्फ 2 ही आर्टिकल्स इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं. You should know that. Article 19 and 21. Yes. आप पढ़ते रहो, हम लोग भी खूब पढ़ाते हैं, सोचते हैं कि चलो ये आ जाएगा, पूछते ही नहीं. Yes. See, these all questions are linked to Article 19, this freedom, Article 19, 21, this खाप पंचायत मान लो ये भी फंडामेंटल राइट से रिलेटेड है, फंडामेंटल राइट, this then this environment etc. they have added here, let's say right to move residence, it is Article 19, Article 21, Article 21. This either they are asking 21 or they are writing 19. So you may read 14, you may read we read reservation wall also 15, 16. They take lots of time. Right. There are various case laws, but we will also reduce our focus on them. Right. Even right to property, due process, this will find this, let's say. So largely if you take fundamental rights, so they ask regularly a question on fundamental rights. This, so that way let's say they remain important. If you take next, DPSP, just one question they have asked. This will say that a DPSP is not that important. And then let's say that fundamental duties, no question has been asked. This, so these are first, let's say that, then let's say basic structure doctrine. The basic structure doctrine and amendability, they remain important. This basic structure doctrine, and next is Article 368 and amendments. This, so they remain important. This, if you take from polity side, polity means the constitutional aspect, let's say that, so they are important. Then comes next segment. Next segment will be coming, let's say that, legislatures. Next, legislatures if you take. The legislature may union legislature take. And union legislature is important topic. अब इसमें let's say कि holistic question has also been asked. Holistic question has also been asked. This, right. So emergence of cabinet system, the rise of executive is marginalization of parliament. How parliament upholds accountability of executive, ये सारे holistic question बोला जाता है. Holistic मतलब बहुत ही generic type का, entire topic पे question आया है. This, so that is, let's say that, then they will ask, they have asked question related to speaker, office of speaker, they will ask privileges. This privileges, immunity, you will find this. That way question has been asked. This, here will say legislature, control on executive. Then you know committees. Most important thing is committees, and all committees they have asked. Even ethics and privilege committee also they have asked. Right. These are, let's say, you will find, in fact, committees remain an important aspect. The way comparative parliament remains, this comparative constitution remains. Similarly, let's say this committees are considered another single hand, let's say that, a single most important topic, it will come in that category. If you read the POI quiz, you can find that. This, then state legislature, let's say, at times they have asked, let's say this. This state legislature, they have asked speaker also, legislative council also. So that is also not that important, but yes, we can keep in that category. Then it comes executive. This political executive. इस executive में वो क्या पूछते हैं, let's say that. So they will ask council of minister. They will ask its strength. and size means strength, and then efficiency, that they ask. Quality they ask. Quality of parliamentarians. Qualification, disqualification they ask. Qualification, disqualification and defection. This. तो हमारा पढ़ने का तरीका क्या होगा, वैसे ही ओरिएंट होगा. This, how they ask? So they will ask, let's say, related to council of minister. Once they ask, the size of council of minister is directly proportional to effective functioning of government. ये भी कोई question होता है? How student is going to write? Whether let's say any student has such applied knowledge. This, they can convert size of council of minister with effectiveness of the government. This, that will find. So this defection 2 times they have asked. Qualification, disqualification they keep asking. It is basic question. Many a time they will say what are the grounds of disqualification. Prelims type का भी question आता है. This, so this is what they will ask. Then quality means basically criminalization you have. So that they have asked. Strength they have asked. And council of minister, that is how. And then simultaneous holding of election 2 times they have asked. So whether you relate some topics here or you relate in representation of people act. This, that way. It's both way you can consider. So this way we can take, let's say if you talk about executive, and then in formal executive, if you talk in executive, if you go in formal, this you can say as real. Right. If I include formal, since I have not included here, formal. तो इसमें president is important, and in president what they ask? Pardoning power to this year also. Pardoning power. Ordinance. 2 times ordinance they have asked. This pardoning power they have asked. This. Then they have asked emergency. Emergency they have asked. Financial emergency they have asked. Emergency में 2 बार उन्होंने पूछा, एक financial emergency and then article 356. This, that way. So president also you will find that president per se, let's say that office also remains important, right? Even जो unimportant है वो कभी कभी random question आता है, जैसे कि अटॉर्नी जनरल. तो अटॉर्नी जनरल इस बार भी आया है, पहले भी आया है, तो 2 बार हो गया. एटलीस्ट अगले साल नहीं आएगा. कौन लिखेगा अटॉर्नी जनरल पे? This, anyhow. Then they have asked, or that is expected. फिर से आएगा. This, because नया election हुआ है. Just this we have to understand. If you take executive part, so that is how the pattern you can see. It means that there are some dead topics, and dead topics are also asked by UPSC. Just you may not expect that a question will be asked, but they do that. That you can cover by your prelims oriented knowledge. That's why prelims, better the prelims preparation, let's say better the mains preparation also. That way, because they help, and you can divide your time in that way, this way. So this is legislature, that is called executive. Then comes to judiciary. This. Now in judiciary if you take, so they have been regularly asking one question, you know that, in judiciary, and that question regularly they are asking related to its independence and accountability. Read 2023 paper also. The first question was independence related. Yes, first A question. First question. The first question was about independence. Read 2022, and the question was related to judiciary and environmental related its judgments. Is it? they may have given somewhere else, right? Anyhow, judiciary, let's say कि this is a holistic question, और इस बार तो उन्होंने 3 क्वेश्चन शायद पूछा है जुडिशरी से, कॉलेजियम और सेकेंड टाइम कॉलेजियम, right? Anyhow, let me say that कि this independence, then collegium, right? This national judicial appointment, NJSC you can consider this, that they ask, then the PIL they have asked, activism they have asked, this judicial review, judicial activism, yes. तो जुडिशरी पर से लेट से सबसे ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में तो वही होते हैं, तो जुडिशरी पर से रिमेन्स लेट से कि रेलेवेंट टॉपिक, यू कैन से दिस इज हाउ दैट वे वी कैन कंसिडर. सो दे कॉन्स्टिट्यूट द मेजर पार्ट ऑफ योर syllabus, you can say. Then next part is, let's take about this ADR. Next part is separation of power, ADR, this you can consider, and quasi judicial body. ये भी important होता है this, इसलिए कि quasi judicial body 3 times they have asked, if I remember like correctly. 3 times they have asked question. This ADR related, so I think they have asked 3 to 4 times. This, see, in ADR, NALSA once they ask, NALSA and free legal aid, that has been asked. Conciliation or arbitration conciliation act, twice they have asked. This, so that way, let's say that. I think once they have asked Lok Adalat, once they have asked महिला, let's say कि महिला अदालत ऐसे करके क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछा था. दिस, सो महिला कोर्ट और ऐसे ही एक होता है women, let's say specific like. So ADR, even if it is a very small topic, ADR, but let's say conciliation, arbitration conciliation act, it was amended in 15, then they asked, thereafter again amended, again they asked this. Then NALSA they asked relating to free legal aid, and then they, I think they have asked once, I think Mahila court, I think that was in 2013 around. So this will find that ADR remains, and separation of power, so it is not that important, but they can club with the question. This way you can say. Now, this in quasi judicial body, this year they have asked quasi judicial body. CAT they have asked. CAT, then again this year they have asked. Plus once they ask what is quasi judicial body. Now, if you take length of the topics, they are not huge, but question आता है. Yes, but there are some topics length is huge, but question may not come. This, our attention should be, and generally we ignore such topics because we are more driven by mainstream topics. Anyhow, so that way we will complete the judicial part. Then next part is, after executive legislature, federal polity. And very important. Again it is one, let's say you can consider very important topic. Almost every year a question is asked on federal polity. On a given day, there can be 2-3 questions also. This you should know that. So, if you see federal polity column, in fact, federal polity, let's say, is very regular, and they have asked all sort of questions. Right? Federal polity में basic question also they have asked. The basic question, basic is conventional question they have asked. Then contemporary they have asked. Contemporary related to Niti Ayog, related to GST, that you can say this. Then they have asked collaborative, cooperative, conflictual. Yes, once they ask related to CBI. Then they have asked related to finance, commission, this way. So we expected even 16 Finance Commission, वो नहीं आया, अगले साल आएगा. This, right. So federal is, let's say, since lots of things you have related to federal aspect. River water wala bhi they have asked. River water dispute. This, that they have asked. What they have not asked in this federal aspect, if you take, they have not asked interstate council. This, it is, let's say, they have not asked. Yes, zonal council also they have not asked. If they want to trouble you at times, this is how they pick up such type of topics. This, it can be, let's say, ask anytime, but GST related, again, lots of developments are happening. What they have not asked is GST council. GST council also they have not asked. GST they have asked, GST council they have not asked. So we would expect that one day they will ask interstate council also and GST council also. This. So federal polity is another, let's say that it is challenging also, you know that, when we deal about union state and local relations. Next topic is called 73rd Amendment. It is another single most important topic. Right, almost every year they ask a question on that. This year they have not asked, I guess. Every year a question they ask on this. They will divide it sectorally. So they ask a holistic question and sectoral question. Holistic question है, देखो दोनों का अलग अलग चैलेंज होता है. Holistic demands better content overall, sectoral demands specific content. This micro level facts, etc. You know this. The sectoral also, let's say, related to women, Gram Sabha, let's say that way, let's say you will find finance, that way, women empowerment, Gram Sabha, this women, Gram Sabha, finance, this, that way we can consider. What they have not asked and we expect. We expect state finance, we expect e-panchayat. Means digitalization of Panchayati Raj has not been asked. Today, tomorrow they are going to ask this. So that way you can consider 73rd Amendment Act, which is an important topic. Now they have added also 74th Amendment Act. This, and first time they asked 74th in 2024. This. We were not teaching 74th Amendment Act because we did not expect they would ask in GS paper. Right. But once they ask, we used to tell in just brief way, but once they ask, now you have legitimacy to teach. Right. That is right. Basically, let's say that they have used at times also, at least once more they have used term called local self-government. So when they use the term local self-government in questions, what does it mean? Both 73rd and, yes, 73rd and 74th. This. Be mindful of this. Right. Local self-government means both. This. Yes, that is how it is. But that's why once, before 74th Amendment, 2024, once in any question they have used the term local self-government. This you can say. But in 2024, explicitly they ask about 74th, linking to rural-urban divide. This, it was a difficult question, I will tell you, because people don't study more than Lakshmikant, जो सारा factuals है. So rural-urban divide, whether there should be rural-urban divide, there should not be rural-urban divide, what is the interaction between PRIs and urban local bodies? Do you have a view on that? That way you can consider that it was challenging anyhow. So that is what we can say, but still we'll keep that the 73rd amendment remains most important. That way we can consider on this aspect. We have been expecting, if you talk urban level, basically urban planning as a surprise question, let's say this. Urban planning, or again they can ask a question on urban development. So this is 73rd, 74th Amendment Act. So we cover the polity part, I guess. No, in cover the polity part. In polity part, what you come to know? You come to know that comparative constitution, fundamental rights, then legislature means parliament, that in parliament committees, very important, then executive, real executive, even president, that remains important. In judiciary case, it's about, let's say that we talk, it's independence, accountability, appointment, collegium, activism, judicial review, those things. And in quasi-judicial bodies, ADR, and we can consider separation of power. They have asked questions like this. Then 73rd Amendment Act remains important, and then it is 74th also nowadays they are asking. ठीक है, देखो आप इस क्लास को यूज करो, आप रिवाइज भी कर लो. आई विल टीच इन सच ए वे दैट कि यू रिवाइज ऑल्सो दिस, दैट इज हाउ. इसलिए मैं भी रिवाइज कर रहा हूँ. We'll come to this. So we can say questions become more relevant with respect to current affairs. PM visited Manipur. Can there be a possible question asked relating to zonal and interstate council? No, that kind of trend we do not have in UPSC, let's say. Current, yes, they do ask questions relating to current aspect we can consider. And current, and they try to link conventional many a time instead of asking current. But let's say that just Prime Minister visited Manipur and then they may ask zonal council or interstate council. So that, let's say that may or may not be, there is no empirical link like this. This you can say. There is no empirical link. Why, let's say why Prime Minister visit, they will wait and ask zonal council. They may have asked Northeast Council, you have Northeast Zonal Council that we have. They may have asked when Manipur incident started. Right. 2 years, let's say, the 2 years have happened, they have not asked. That way, let's say. So when Prime Minister visits, so yes, there may not be, but that is तरह का कोई empirical link नहीं है. This next is that the way we teach, we will talk. So local bodies, judiciary, that is one part. Yes, statutory, constitutional and statutory bodies. Constitutional and statutory bodies. हालांकि तो you have n number of such institutions, right? Which very difficult many a time to manage them. But in that constitutional body, let's say CAG. CAG remains most important. Since they ask in 2024, they did not ask in 2025. Although they ask regularly, at certain interval you can consider. The CAG can be one as one such body, let's say that. If we are writing to Finance Commission is another body, and if we are writing to Election Commission of India is another body, if you talk on constitutional matter, then they have asked National Commission for this OBC, let's say that. OBC, that also they have asked. Then if you take on a statutory side, the National Commission for Women, this I think Child Right Commission they have asked. This this. So this is, let's say if you talk statutory, let's say that statutory में तो regulatory भी आएगा, but that regulatory will be covered separately. Let's say this we cover. So they have asked, I think 3 times almost, questions and regulation, but it is not that important. Regulation topic, if you take regulation, regulatory bodies and regulation, so I guess 3 times they have asked question, and I think once they have asked SEBI, if I am right, otherwise right, 2013. CCI they have asked. No, to SEBI they have asked, you can consider. Then diversification of regulatory bodies they have asked. Railway Tariff Commission they have asked. But Railway Tariff Commission, it was that time in news, so they asked this. But thereafter, the way we expect a question and regulation, they have not asked. Right. Right. CCI can be, let's say, basically what we expect if you take regulatory bodies, the Competition Commission of India is expected. This on regulatory bodies. Even let's say real estate, RERA that you have, this, that is also expected, you can consider this. So that way, if you talk as far as regulatory bodies are concerned, but they do not put them under that. There are so many issues related to regulation, but they have not been asking. Even SEBI was also in news, etc. You know, regulatory debates have happened, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, regulatory debates have happened, but still, let's say they have not been asking on that aspect. This here, let's say they have asked, I guess, 2 times. National Commission for Women. This once they have asked it. Those topics which they repeat, there is a possibility of again repetition. That you should know that. But the topics they just ask once, there may not be that level of possibility. That year it was enacted, so that's why it was asked. Now, I guess they have not asked National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe, or they have asked once, I guess. Have they asked? In SC test. Anyhow, but these things remain as important. If you talk in constitutional bodies, they remain important. They come here and there. Anyhow, they come here and there this way. Then it comes, let's say that representation of People Act. In Representation of People Act, they have asked, let's say, Representation of People Act 1951 model, code of EVMs, this defection, then ECI, Election Commission of India, and then this simultaneous holding of election twice. So it is also important topic. और अब तो वैसे भी बहुत important है. This is no. So ECI remains important. This, sir, you can consider the ECI, and this is how you'll find this. It remains important because of this. The Representation of People Act 51, 50 and others, they remain important, you can see, because now the way they have, let's say, triggered debate on electoral rolls and its management and others, it will remain in news throughout the year. This. So question may not be on this aspect, but question can be on electoral rolls. Question can be on Aadhaar. This Aadhaar as identity proof. क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? होना चाहिए. It should be. It should not be. Right. Right. इसलिए कि 10 documents are not as important. They are important for prelims. But 11th one is for mains. This. Anyhow, so that way you can consider that it remains another important topic. You can say representation of people act you can consider. Then the polity part is almost finished. You can say let's take governance part. गवर्नेंस में गवर्नेंस इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. दैट इज टू नो राइट. तो गवर्नेंस पर से अगर आप सोचोगे कि यू विल रीड, जैसे लक्ष्मीकांत आप पढ़ोगे तो क्या पढ़ोगे? गवर्नेंस. क्या पढ़ोगे आप? गुड गवर्नेंस. पूछा ही नहीं उन्होंने. दिस दे हैव नॉट आस्क्ड. व्हाट दे हैव आस्क्ड, तो वो तो है ही नहीं सिलेबस में. दिस डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ democratic governance. Do you know this? It is 2024 question. किसी को नहीं पता था. Frankly speaking, हमें भी नहीं पता है कि क्या. हम तो लिख तो देंगे, बता देंगे क्या है, बट एक legitimate source होना, authentic बताना कि ये है, वो नहीं बता सकते. तो लास्ट ईयर जब इन्होंने पूछा तो people study. राइट. दिस. और स्टडी क्या करोगे? यूरोपियन कंट्री का वेबसाइट से पूछा है उन्होंने. यहां बात करते हैं इंडिजिनस. राइट. एंड दे हैड आस्क्ड कोलैबोरेटिव. ये भी बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन था. Collaborative governance. This was asked in 2019 around. इसको भी कोई किसी को नहीं पता होगा. Right. Collaborative governance. उस समय लेट से, हालांकि ये जनरल टर्म है, तो once they asked, they used the term collaborative governance. So they have gone beyond governance and good governance. They are very high level of development. You cannot expect, at least in GS, ki they will go to that level this way. Anyhow, so that is how they have asked, let's say, from governance. They will tell that in 2 times they have asked, so it remains important, will teach. They use the term governance although in question, not necessarily as a main question on governance, but in the sentence they will use the term governance, even if it is related to civil society organization. That way. So that way we can consider in governance topic there are other topics which are important. The most important topic of governance is e-governance. Yes. 7 times, if I remember, they have asked 7 times questions on e-governance. You can count also. Yes. No, more than that. 6 times. DBT भी है कहीं पर. राइट. दूसरे सेक्शन में. राइट. तो दूसरे सेक्शन में और भी ई गवर्नेंस वाले क्वेश्चन है. दिस. राइट. तो नो वो दे हैव मेंशन इन वेलफेयर स्कीम्स एंड प्रोग्राम्स. तो वेलफेयर वाले में भी ई गवर्नेंस होगा. राइट. Right. Anyhow, so basically, let's say if you talk single most important topic, why? You should identify, same, you will teach in ethics also when we'll take, you should identify in each paper the single most important topics. Right. ऐसे जो topics है उसको identify करो कि जो most important कौन है, single most important topic. Macro topic नहीं, specific topic. गवर्नेंस एक मैक्रो टॉपिक है, बट गवर्नेंस के अंदर क्या है? ई गवर्नेंस वी हैव. इट इज ए स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक. आइडेंटिफाई ऐसे टॉपिक्स, मुझे लगता है कि मैंने कभी काउंट नहीं किया, बट लेट्स से 40 to 50 होंगे. राइट. प्रिपेयर देम वेल. Yes, that is how we can optimize our mains preparation. Smart preparation जिसको कहते हैं. Yes. Because they are going to ask again. Anyhow. And इसमें जो क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं वो आसान नहीं होता, यू शुड नो दैट। कुछ ऐसे टॉपिक्स हैं जिसके क्वेश्चन लास्ट ईयर दे आस्क्ड इंटरैक्शनल मॉडल, राइट। किसको पता है ई गवर्नेंस बच्चे ठीक से लिख दे वही काफ़ी है, राइट। दे हैव आस्क्ड कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन, दिस anyhow, that is how I will tell you that e-governance is another important topic. Then let's come to other parts, let's say in this. Other parts are not that important. Let's say कि citizen charter, so they have asked twice, I guess. Citizen charter, I guess, 3 times, right? So 3 times that it will be also important, let's say. But see, RTI is not that important. RTI यहाँ पे इतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है। तो जितना आप गवर्नेंस पॉलिटी की बात करते हो ना, वो इतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है अगर इसको हटा दो। दिस RTI has importance in ethics paper. 2 times case studies they have asked, 3 times theory questions almost they have asked, right? Anyhow, but RTI I guess कि once or twice they may have asked. Once amendment in 2019, RTI amendment bill, it is related to that. So RTI is not that important. Then once they have asked whistleblowing, the year it was introduced, they asked 2014 में पूछा होगा, right? 2014, and once they have asked Lokpal, or twice. Lokpal was asked in 2013, right? Thereafter they have not asked, right? Yes, 2020 Lokpal, yes, right. Years maybe here and there, let's say that. तो but we prepare a Lokpal करते रहते हैं, this, but Lokpal has been asked once, they can ask again, no doubt. This is how it is, just a matter of time कि when they will ask again, and we have been expecting Lokpal plus Lokayukta. So we expect once a question on this, Lokpal and Lokayukta, we expect a question on this. Since these topics are common to also your paper 4, so you can take advantage of that. This is how. Accountability we will not include CAG, already CAG part we have told. The governance part if you take, the largely we cover in governance part these things. This you can consider like this, including CBI, the CBI wala part, let's say that. The CBI per se they have not asked. CBI they have asked in federal polity context. CBI as an institution they have not asked. This. So as an institution you can expect. CVC you can expect. Then Enforcement Directorate you can expect. Expect करने को तो बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं. Because Enforcement Directorate has been in news for some time. हर साल बच्चे बोलते हैं सर इस बार आने वाला है. This. But they have not asked this. हो सकता है कि they may ask this. This is they have. But yes, we should have in our somehow in our mind about them. CBI, CVC, Enforcement Directorate. This as single question means कि on investigation body or accountability related things that can be. But among them again we will tell that कि you should prepare e-governance much better than e-governance and citizen charter. Yes, that way. Next time which model they will ask we do not know. कुछ नया ही पूछेंगे. This, the way they have been asking, or yes, they can ask good governance also. It is not that they cannot ask, but that is how the governance part. And in governance part again, on a given day, e-governance is most important. Then thereafter comes civil services. Civil services, let's say, basically they have asked 2 types of questions. One on bureaucracy, another on reforms. This. This is how I'll find it. Bureaucracy, once they ask if bureaucracy was not suitable for socio-economic. The bureaucracy was not suitable for socio-economic development. That was their question. And on reforms, they have asked 2 to 3 times, let's say, question related to this. This civil services reform, this and that, etc. I will find this. Right. Then I think Mission Karmyogi also asked, is it? Mission Karmyogi has not been asked here. नहीं है, right. Anyhow. Now what we have been expecting, let's say that, this expected question. Lateral entry. The lateral entry you can have expected question. We can have this called Mission Karmyogi, yes. This, that way. If they ask at all, otherwise again they will ask question like this. This is how. But yes, recruitment wala question they ask, 2024. 2024 में recruitment related. Okay, क्या था NT? No. They ask, the government introduced a bill related to recruitment. A bill was introduced and that bill was asked in 2024. When NEET scam happened, after NEET scam, a bill was introduced. So that bill was asked in 2000. It is not directly linked to this civil service recruitment, but yes, as far as recruitment is concerned, that way we can tell. Right. So, civil services topics, it's very huge. You know that. Teaching, let's say, teaching ADR, teaching civil service, they are two different things. But as far as how much it pay to you, let's say, pay off, let's say, if you find, it is not that much. Yes, public examination bill. It was public examination bill that was asked. This. Anyhow, but still let's say that what we cannot leave it since it is a topic. You'll find this. It will be considered not that important, but yes, important. Like the civil services, then comes social justice. This single most important. This self-help groups, pressure groups. This you should know that. So last year, they have asked this year also, 2025. But they have not asked this. The self-help groups remain very important topic if you talk. Single most important. If you count, let's say the 6-7 times they have asked. Same thing, pressure groups you can consider. And then next is about civil society organization. Yes. The 3 topics in social justice are very important, you can consider. This, so that way, let's say. Then other topics, they are not that much paying, you know that, you should know that. Other topics. Other topics may include about non-profit institutions, they can be cooperatives, this. Then there can be donor agencies, once they have asked, this. Then thereafter we have this health. आप हेल्थ में इतना पढ़ोगे क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा. एजुकेशन इतना पढ़ोगे क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा. दिस ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट ये थोड़ा सा प्रेडिक्टेबल है, दे कीप आस्किंग. और पॉवर्टी से तो और भी नहीं है. दिस it is a huge topic, no? It takes time because lots of schemes, programs, schemes you have. This welfare programs and schemes we have. This there are also welfare programs and schemes. There are so many, but they are unpredictable. Right? Largely, what they have asked, midday meal. Manrega, DBT, this rural means ki pura was asked. This so largely if you take that, so that way let's say ki some program schemes, old age related, health related bills will find. Basically let's say ki old age related they have asked, then health related, bill, terminally ill, let's say that. So they have asked. But since its area is very huge, right, but scope is very less. And you cannot predict. Because government has so many schemes and programs. Right, you think, oh, this, ye bhi aane wala hai, ye bhi aane wala hai. And they do not ask. But let's say ki programs and schemes and etc. we do not prepare, its knowledge is holistic, let's say that. So you should take into consideration these things by preparing, let's say, yourself for prelims also. When you prepare prelims, mains, if it is not helping here, it may help in optional, etc. But as far as prioritization is concerned, मेंस टाइम में क्या होता है, आपके पास टाइम नहीं होता है. जब टाइम नहीं होता है तो ये सब चीज़ें आपको हेल्प करता है. रिस्क मिनिमाइजेशन. तो यू डोंट हैव टाइम टू रिवाइज, तो व्हाट यू शुड डू, यू शुड रिवाइज दोज टॉपिक्स व्हिच यू थिंक दैट कि दे आर गोइंग टू बी आस्क्ड expected line. So that way it can work, let's say. So that is how we'll try to focus on this, although we'll cover all these things, but this way you can consider as social justice topics like this. And let's say largely questions are from polity, constitution side. You will find this. Then it is given analysis if you take. Then social justice side, then governance side. If you take the order, let's say that. The order of question will be polity, constitution, and then it is called the social justice, and then it is this called governance. Although they will keep changing their weightage, but largely question will have from that side. That is a kind of understanding about, I guess we covered all syllabus topics, entire syllabus topics, right? This can give you idea about entire topics, etc. what polity topics can be considered. Now let's go to next level. So next level is that let's start, right, this aspirational district program. Yes, so yes, that was also asked like this. If let's this, so you should use this class also to make your short notes, your own short notes. This is how it is. So that way your notes will also be prepared, whatever we write, and by the time whatever we write, this and that topics can also be covered. So largely in polity section, historical underpinnings, we start with Regulating Act 1773. It laid down the foundation, you know that? This, it was by foundation. Foundation for centralized administration. Why centralized administration? Centralized administration because governor of Bengal was given superior power over governor of, yes, that you know that. This, they for the first time they assumed political and administrative role you can consider. Then governor, let's say that ki executive council was created, that you can say. So some points you know simply will take that ki they laid down the foundation for political administrative system, and that was centralized system. And in this law it was also mentioned that ki they will review it time to time. And review resulted into next is called Pitt's India Act. That was in 1784. Pitt's India Act, what is relevance of Pitt's India Act? Right. It created dual governance structure. It created dual governance structure. Board of Control and Court of Directors. The Board of Control was created to control Court of Directors. Court of Directors relating to East Indian Company. This you can consider. And now this became Court of Directors, let's say, its main role was more of political administrative, less commercial. This you should know that. The main thing was that it created a dual governance structure which is improvement. And then we created Charter Act 18. Right. We'll skip that. Charter Act 1833. Right. And it was again a strengthening centralization. How it is strengthened centralization? By declaring designation as Governor General. This, and then it is divested legislative power. Divested legislative powers. This, the legislative powers were divested. This of Madras and Bombay. It is centralization. That we can consider. And it ended completely the commercial activities. It attempted to introduce merit system, but it was not accepted that way. And then finally we had this Charter Act 18. Now 1853 is known for it is known for, let's say you should know that ki first time it separated the Governor General, legislative power and executive powers. This legislative powers, executive powers, both were separated, you should know that. And now this is separation of power, you know that. And when a legislative power was separated, so this legislative council was created. Legislative council was created. This legislative council worked as mini parliament. This, that way we can consider it. So that is what we can say about Charter Act. Then another important thing was done. What was done? That merit system was introduced. And it is because of this merit system Macaulay Committee was constituted. This, it is centralization. So this is a scheme of centralization, let's say that. Then we start with this 58. What we say as Act of Good Government. Why we say it act of good government? This, what it did? Ended this dual, this, ended dual governance, which was created here. So whatever you did it, now they will undo that. This, so that way we can consider, so it is ended that dual governance. This, then it introduced responsible government idea. Why? Because Viceroy was, let's say, held accountable to British Parliament. This you should know. And therefore, British Parliament, let's say that, ki try to uphold accountability, and debate and discussion happen. Indian members in British Parliament, they debated, discussed, and they exposed Britishers from within. Right. So that becomes, let's say, this is called, it is because of this, it is called as act of good government, and then they started decentralizing power. If it became basis for centralization, so it became basis for decentralization. This you should know. If it became basis for centralization, it became basis for decentralization. That way you should know this. And then, since again the way it was passed, they had passed other acts. Similarly, other acts have to be passed. So it was, let's say that, Act, Council Act 1861. What it did? Council Act, what it did? So we have created legislative council. In legislative council, there will be introduction of local representation, Indian representation. In representative system is introduced. Then it introduces a scheme of decentralization. Decentralization. What is decentralization? So legislative powers were restored. Legislative powers जो आपने यहाँ से divest किया था, legislative powers were restored. That you should know that. To legislative powers restored. That happened. The decentralization plus other things they introduced. Then we had Council Act 1892. It is known for blah blah things, but it introduced elections, indirect elections. That you can consider. Further we continue with Government of India Act 1919. So why it is known for this? So it introduced the system of direct elections. Then what it introduced? Right. Universal adult franchise, no doubt. Bicameral legislature. Introduced bicameral legislature. And it promised to hold civil service examination in India. This promise for a civil service commission. Anyway, they are not as important, but that is how we can say important. Then Government of India Act 1935 introduced federal polity. Diarchy at center. This autonomy to states. Bicameral legislature to states. And it introduces RBI blah blah things. Right. This is historical underpinnings, but they have asked question on this aspect. Now, what is the relevance of this? Relevance of historical underpinnings, what they have done? Relevance, right? So we'll tell that relevance is structural and philosophical. The structural part is Government of 1935. Philosophical part is liberal values. Liberal values come from spirit of freedom struggle movement. Nehru report, objective resolution, right? That is the relevance for constitution. तो आपके पास इतना भी नोट्स है तो काफ़ी है, राइट? दिस मेंस के लिए, राइट? प्रीलिम्स के लिए तो ये काफ़ी, मतलब कि इट इज़ नॉट इनफ. लेट्स प्रीलिम्स के लिए तो आपको, मैं अपने भाषा में बोलूँ तो भूत बनना पड़ेगा. सॉरी टू से दैट. This we skipped गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 99. वो हिस्ट्री के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, पॉलिटी में इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है उसका. तो उसको आप थीमेटिक तरीके से पढ़ोगे तो ज़्यादा नहीं बोलोगे. और मेन चीज़ याद होना चाहिए. मेन चीज़ याद है तो दैट इज हाउ इट विल टेक यू फॉरवर्ड. भूलते तो सब आदमी हैं, राइट? बट मेन, लेट्स से कि व्हाट वी हैव टोल्ड, वी हैव टॉक्ड द मेन एस्पेक्ट. तो आप क्या करोगे ना, उसको कनेक्ट कर लोगे. आप मान लो 73 लिख रहे हो, ठीक है, और इस पे पॉइंट्स नहीं याद आ रहा है, बट ये सारे उन्हीं का ग्रोथ है. तो आप कंटेंट जनरेट करके लिख दोगे. आपको पता है कि ये सारा इन्हीं का ग्रोथ है, राइट? और आप ये लिख रहे हो, पता है कि ये जो है, इस ये अगर सेंट्रलाइज है तो ये सबका एसेंस है. दिस, तो दैट इज हाउ यू जनरेट कंटेंट, यू लर्न इट, राइट? So even if you remember few important things or few specific things, but if you know these things with thematic way, if you learn, that way you will be able to generate content. But if you randomly try to learn it, ना, वो तो किसी से भी नहीं होगा. तो अगर आप बार बार भूल रहे हो तो कहीं ना कहीं वो थीमेटिक एस्पेक्ट वो मिस हो रहा है कहीं ना कहीं, राइट? दिस वे हम लोग क्या करेंगे, हम जब हमें याद करना होगा तो हम उसको हम एक थीमेटिक बनाएंगे उसको. राइट. तो हम लोग ऐसे शुरू करते हैं, हालांकि इस बार हमने बताया नहीं. दिस ऐसे शुरू होता है. दिस इट गोज लाइक दिस, इट गोज लाइक दिस, and then it comes down like this. ये ऐसे आता है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे आकर के ये पीक हो सकता है, चाहे आप इसको 1853 मानो या 58 मानो. तो ये ऐसे आता है, ये ऐसे आता है. दिस दिस। तो अगर ये पिक्चर याद है, यही पिक्चर ही ड्रॉ कर दो, ऐसे ही आधा पेज लेगा ये। दिस एंड इट इज नॉट मीनिंगलेस, ये मीनिंगलेस नहीं है। यस, दैट इज व्हाट इट इज। तो वी हैव टू लर्न ऑल दीज थिंग्स, thematic things, right? So then you will remember plus this. So that is how historical underpinnings question has not been asked. We will not also practice on that, but yes, we will take this, let's say. So if question was asked, let's say this federal, the first part you can answer that question. फर्स्ट पार्ट तो आप बोल दोगे ना, डिड गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ले डाउन ए फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन? डिड इट ले डाउन ए फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन? व्हाट विल बी द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द आंसर? देखो, डिस्कस मतलब होता है कि यू हैव टू राइट इट्स not necessarily pros and cons, but discuss when they are asking a bit, you have to write its counter view, means you have to write a bit of criticisms. This also we have to write. So when you write on this, structure, so you have to write anything in introduction, then body part, then it will have weakness, means criticisms, and conclusion. This conclusion will end with relevance. The introduction, this main, let's say this main aspect, federal, how it is, then what are its criticism, what are its relevance. This. That way. Right. This, that way it will be, right? Let's write this. Just hints we will write. Right. The Government of India Act 1935 provided the main structural basis for Indian Constitution, including its federal structure. Federal structure. This. The next part. The Government of India Act 35 was largely known for its federal provisions, which are as follows. First, the three types of lists. First, within that, for central list, provincial list, right? Concurrent list, next separate point. Right. Residuary power was given to center. In bracket, Governor General. Governor General. This change in paragraph. Then, therefore, for the first time, A clearly devised structure was provided for federal polity, which was improvement over diarchy introduced under Government of India Act 1919. It also introduced other provisions, or it had also other provisions, blah blah things, you can write yourself. Then you write criticisms, that first, even if it introduces federal provisions, but they never came into force. Next, they had centralizing tendency. That union was given more powers vis-a-vis states. Right. It is this act which also became basis for Schedule 7 of the Constitution. And on negative side, it is criticized for centralizing tendency. On negative side, it is criticized for centralizing tendency. The concluding part, nevertheless, the Act can be considered a significant development in evolution of Indian Constitution. Which helped the framers of the Constitution to adopt a structural side of Indian polity, albeit with modification to suit to Indian conditions. Right? So that is how it can be answered. So that way we can consider about this part. So we'll finish on this. Now, as far as, let's say, making of Constitution, you read yourself. Yes, making of Constitution, framing process, this, that, committee, etc. So that you can say this. Then sources of Constitution. That also, let's say that you know those from prelims-oriented sources of Constitution, and then let's say nature and characteristics of Constitution or features of the Constitution. This features of the Constitution. So basically, let's say if you talk on features of the Constitution, etc., since entire polity is about them, right? for mains type, let's say. So no need to go into this. Sources are prelims type, but a bit of things I will talk, which I think that you should know. So simply just let me write some of the things related to constitution. This, the constitution per se, let's say that. When we talk sources, the sources broadly we define in 4 ways. There are broad 4 sources of constitution. One is called historical. This including government of 1935. Then we talk about this philosophical. So we include in philosophy Indian, this tradition, culture, philosophy, etc. That we can consider. Then spirit of freedom struggle movement. That we can say that. And Western constitutions. This you can say this. So broadly let's say you find this. If you talk from mains perspective, broader features like this, substance part, that miniature details कि US से क्या आया और UK से क्या आया, but it is more substance type. So that way you can talk about sources. Now, when you talk about sources, then it is said, a question is asked that whether constitution originality. There is a doubt on question of originality कि Indian constitution is borrowed constitution. इसके डिफेंस में क्या बोलोगे आप? Originality, does it lack originality? Yes. So, in defense, you can write about B.R. Ambedkar. This. No. देखो, when he says like this, suppose you write constitution today, right? So whatever you are going to write today, it will be right. Whatever the content you adopt, then that will have its link with this or that constitution, right? Because most of the things about constitution have already been written. Most of the things about the constitution we have already written, means other countries have already written that. So when those countries have already written, so when you write it, it can be considered, you have borrowed. Right? This way, let's say. Let's say there are lots of books related to polity. Suppose someone else also write a book on polity. तो बहुत सारा चीज overlap करेगा. So is it borrowed? So this is what he was trying to say. If you write a constitution at this stage, that is called 50s, so that time you cannot claim of originality, right? Because whatever you write, it can be linked to anyone's constitution, right? First, second is that. Second thing he says that it is not that what you have borrowed or what, let's say that whether it is original or not. More important thing is that whether it is workable to your condition, suitable to your society. The constitution was kept organic so that it should be suitable to our society. That you have to understand. Right. This is one aspect you should know. Now the second aspect, let's say that ki no one, what he said that ki no one can have finality on this or that, कि ये हमारा है ये तुम्हारा है. No one can claim कि it is mine, it is yours. This you should know that. Yes, that way. There is no finality on those words, you can say that. कि, oh, this is my constitution, this is from US constitution. This you have to understand. So, this way let's say that you can consider. So, originality, let's say why you need to have originality? When you are getting a better constitution by learning from others. Suppose you adopt original but it is not workable. Right. You adopt, जो आजकल बोल लोग कहते हैं ना, हालांकि फर्स्ट क्लास है बट वी आर फेमिलियर. सो लेट्स से दैट कि जो लोग ये कहते हैं कि ये वेस्टर्न कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, ठीक है, इसमें कुछ भी इंडियन नहीं है, राइट, तो उनसे पूछना चाहिए कि ठीक है आप इंडियन लेके आओ, क्या लेके आओगे? ठीक है, तो मैं दूसरे क्लास में सरकास्टिकली बोलता हूँ कि मान लो आप बोल दो कि फ़ोन हमारा इंडियन नहीं है, तो क्या फ़ोन अपना क्या लेके आओगे आप? बैम्बू वाला लेके आओगे? बैम्बू लीड्स का, सॉरी टू से दैट, राइट. तो द क्वेश्चन इज, लेट्स से यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस दैट कि ये कहना नहीं चाहिए, राइट. तो आप क्वेश्चन भी मत लाओ. अभी मैंने बताया सरकास्टिकली वहाँ पर कि क्वेश्चन भी तो आप यूरोपियन काउंसिल की वेबसाइट से पूछ रहे हो, ठीक है, और यहाँ बोल रहे हो कि वेस्टर्न सब कुछ है. तो आज के डेट में ये कहना कि वेस्टर्न क्या है, ईस्टर्न क्या है, ये तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए. दिस बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट सेपरेट, यू कैन नॉट सेग्रीगेट. आपका इसरो सैटेलाइट लॉन्च करता है तो यूएस अपना माइक्रो सैटेलाइट सेंड करता है, हर कंट्री सेंड करता है जिसके साथ आपके बहुत अच्छे भी रिलेशन नहीं है, उसके भी आप सैटेलाइट लॉन्च कर रहे होते हैं. ये और बात है कि वो इंडिया पाकिस्तान के मैच जैसा नहीं है, ठीक है. दिस इसलिए वो सब चीजें लोगों को पता नहीं है, ठीक. अदरवाइज यू लॉन्च द सैटेलाइट्स ऑफ डिफरेंट कंट्रीज and they pay you. अब उसमें कुछ ह्यूमिलिएशन नहीं है. This you have to understand. तो what I will tell you that कि we should not have this mindset that कि ये हमारा होना चाहिए. आज के डेट में तो ये कहना और भी मुश्किल है. This because फिर गवर्नेंस मत पढ़ाओ. This कौन क्या क्या करोगे आप? तो बेसिकली दैट शुड नॉट, दैट इज व्हाट B.R. अम्बेडकर वाज ट्राइंग टू से दैट इट्स नॉट अबाउट वेस्टर्न. ठीक है, आप फंडामेंटल राइट्स रखोगे कि नहीं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में? क्या वो गायब ही रहेगा चैप्टर? दिस तो आप क्या लेके आओगे फंडामेंटल राइट की जगह? कौन सा हमारे यहाँ डॉक्यूमेंट है जो फंडामेंटल राइट्स की बात करता है? राइट, देयर मे बी डॉक्यूमेंट्स व्हिच मे टॉक अबाउट राइट्स बट दे आर नॉट दैट आर्टिकुलेटेड. Right. This you have to understand. तो कौटिल्य के टाइम में भी रूल ऑफ लॉ होगा, right. बट जो डाइसी ने रूल ऑफ लॉ प्रोवाइड किया वो आर्टिकुलेटेड है. दिस वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. तो भाई डाइसी का अगर रूल ऑफ लॉ अगर आप फॉलो करते हो तो इसमें बुराई क्या है? व्हाट इज बैड इन दैट? दिस राइट्स आर राइट्स, न तो वेस्टर्न है न ईस्टर्न है. Right. Anyhow, just to tell, the originality, let's say that when you talk, that is how to we just, it is a view on constitution and you should defend it. This. Then we say that it is a very lengthy constitution. Right. So why it is lengthy constitution? It has lots of administrative details. You should know that. Our constitution is a unique constitution in the sense that it has lots of administrative details. It talks. Other constitutions do not talk about administrative details. structural part. Then it includes all, let's say that. Even philosophically also, it includes fundamental rights, DPSPs, duties, that we can consider. Then ours is a diverse society, the many special provisions. Then about special institutions that we have. So that way we can consider that it is, let's say, a lengthy constitution. The being a lengthy constitution is also not a problem because it has been working. This, that way considered. It has also been working like this. Then flexible as well as we have amended more than 100 times amendment. Can we say whether it has outlived utility? Should it be replaced by new constitution? This. जो डिबेट में एटलीस्ट आपको ये सब पता होना चाहिए. क्वेश्चंस आए नहीं आता है, दैट्स नॉट द पॉइंट. डिबेट कहाँ तक गया है ये सब पता होना चाहिए. Basically, some people in our society, they want constitution of their choice. Yes. So basically, since framers were very liberal people, they were from all across society, different sections, they were liberal. But now in our society, there are some people who are not liberal. In fact, they hate and dislike liberals. Right. So they want that we should incorporate. Right. Like say even they have told that Manu Smriti. Right. There is one advocate who has a mission like this. You know, he speaks very fast. So you'll find that there is an advocate, let's say that. He has been glorifying Manu Smriti. One is High Court judge also invoked Manu Smriti in judgment. This. So name I am not let's say remembering that there have been development just to tell that. There are some people, they say that if our condition is like this, it is because of constitution. If we are not able to govern, it is because of constitution. Right. Article 29, 30, 25, 28, why you have given so much rights to them. Then education policy, minorities are not covered under right to education act. Why they are not covered in the right to education act? ये सब दूर कैसे होगा? एक बार सिर्फ constitution बदल दो. Yes. That virtuous people by Dr. Rajinder Prasad. So basically, let's say I will not go in details of that. You should be aware that these are the debates, right? That already even article has. You can read that article. It was published in Mint. This Vivek Debray, although he is no more now, but let's say he was one think tank of the government, this present government. But when he wrote, government dissociated. This, it is his personal view. Right. So he has written that why there should be a new constitution. Because of there are some flaws in the constitution. So when there are some flaws and somehow they think that some rights have been unnecessarily given to citizens, some section of society, some powers have been given to states unnecessarily, you know that. They want more centralized system, let's say that. And institutions like judiciary should not have power of judicial review. The power of judiciary should be taken away. It should not strike a law made by legislature. That you should know that. But यहाँ तो थाईलैंड का जुडिशरी ने थाईलैंड के प्राइम मिनिस्टर को रिमूव कर दिया. Do you know this? Thailand judiciary has removed Thailand prime minister. And France में when we will compare, France, let's say कि when law is made by legislature, the French president has power to send the bill to constitutional council, that is called constitutional court, and if constitutional council strikes that bill, the law ends there. Right. Anyhow, just to finish it, we don't need to bring, let's say, a change in the constitution. Although logics are given that कि France has 5 times changed constitution, why we cannot change constitution? There are some logics given. But then the question is, will you be able to write a better constitution than this? That is how. You will not be able to write a better constitution than this because you don't have that balanced people now. Right? आज के डेट यहाँ पे मुझे यही प्रॉब्लम होता है कि आई कीप समवेयर एल्स, आई कीप सर्चिंग. Right. So that is how you know that कि you don't have the liberal, balanced, rational people the way framers of the constitution were, even if they may belong to different political ideology. You should know that. But they did not bring their ideology on the way of constitution. Right. But today we are quite determined to bring our ideology. Yes, that is how. Anyhow, we cannot say that it is organic, and it depends on those who, those who govern and are governed. So here it comes, constitutional morality one day will teach. Working of constitution does not necessarily depend on what is written in constitution. More it depends on constitutional morality of people, those who govern and those who are governed. That way. That's why Dr. Rajinder Prasad told that we may not have written the best constitution, but even a weak constitution can be run effectively by, let's say, people who are virtuous. Virtuous people can run even a weak constitution better. Hence, I would pray to God, he says, I would pray to God that he should produce such people in abundance. Yes. So that was, let's say, idea, that they thought in that way. This. But today, anyhow, end it. That is how we can say that source, etc. Now then we come to the preamble part. So once they have asked the question on republic, adjectives, discuss the meaning of the adjectives and are they defendable. This. Before that, let me give you a, let's say short note type of thing, what we should tell this. The preamble, it is considered as essence of constitution. तो who says, एक दो चीज आप याद कर लो, होरोस्कोप कौन बोलता है? केम मुंशी. This. Then this soul of the constitution. Who says? That the Thakur Das. Anyhow, this is introductory thing. आप इसको क्या यूज कर सकते हो? इंट्रोडक्शन में यूज कर सकते हो. This. Then it is, let's say, it deals with means and ends. It deals with means and ends, right? Right. Yes. Means क्या है? Means is ends क्या है? What are other values? Justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, unity, integrity. ये सारे ends आते हैं. What does it mean? अब समझने की कोशिश है ये सब. हमें किसी भी तरीके से गवर्न नहीं करना है. We have to govern with a particular way, right? हमने we decided to be governed in a particular way, right? तो those ways are democratic, republic, socialist, sovereign. This you can consider. This you can say. So framers of the constitution decided that कि India should govern in a democratic way. Right, democratic way, to achieve these objectives, to ensure such objectives. तो अब ऐसे आप कैसे इसको समझोगे? तो देखो, ग्रो करने को तो यूएई भी कर रहा है और ग्रो करने को चाइना भी कर रहा है, राइट? बट देयर वे इज नॉट डेमोक्रेटिक. वी डिसाइडेड टू ग्रो इन डेमोक्रेटिक वे. इट इज मोर चैलेंजिंग देन देयर्स. दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. तो अभी जब होता है कि ग्रोथ हो रहा है, डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, बट डेमोक्रेसी डिक्लाइन हो रही है, ठीक है? डेमोक्रेसी इज ऑन बट ग्रोथ. तो गवर्नमेंट लोगों को कैसे बेवकूफ बनाती है? डेवलपमेंट तो हो रहा है, दिस. तो गवर्नमेंट्स लोगों को ऐसे बेवकूफ बनाते हैं कि देखो डेवलपमेंट तो हो रहा है, हमने आपको रोड दिया, घर दिया, ये दिया, अरे तो हमारे राइट्स कहाँ हैं? राइट, दिस. तो दिस वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. दैट्स व्हाई इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ गवर्नमेंट विल नॉट बी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सोनली its economic performance. Evaluation of government should also be on the basis of how it has made the life of people better in terms of their democratic rights. So whether there is decline in human violation of human rights, this, that you can say. Whether people enjoy more liberty and freedom, this, that way. What Amartya Sen says, development as freedom. This, development as freedom. Development does not mean कि अच्छा रोड बना दिया और मुंह में पट्टी लगा दिया. Sorry to say that. डेवलपमेंट का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि गैगिंग यू, बट गिविंग यू ऑल मीन्स ऑफ लाइफ. दिस. So that is how means and ends relationship. Right. And you can imagine the relevance of means. जब आप ethics पढ़ोगे तो भी आपको समझ में आएगा. What Gandhi says, means matter. This you should know that. तो many a time we may compromise. जैसे डिप्लोमेसी, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन में हम compromise कर जाते हैं because we are a democratic country. This. We are a democratic country. Anyhow, so that can be considered, let's say, means, and this can be considered ends, let's say that. This, now thereafter, let's say that it's this legality क्या है इसका? What you have to do? Legality क्या है? Right. Is it enforceable? No. It is not binding, isn't it? Is it part of कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सो यस, तो पहले कब बोला कि नहीं है पार्ट ऑफ? 1960। किसमें बोला पार्ट है? ये लीगैलिटी है। डज इट रिस्ट्रिक्ट पावर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट? नो। डज इट हेल्प? Yes. Does it help in interpretation of constitution? Yes, it helps to judiciary. तो ये थोड़ा लीगल टेक्निकल पार्ट हो गया प्रियम्बल का। दिस लीगलिटी जो प्रीलिम्स के लिए भी आपको इम्पॉर्टेंट है। द नेक्स्ट पार्ट कम्स, नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज सिग्निफिकेंस पार्ट। दिस सिग्निफिकेंस, सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है? हाउ इट इज सिग्निफिकेंट? It is significance in the context of governance because it can provide both means and ends. It deals with rights of people. It can help in maintaining unity and integrity. It promotes better. That is how you can say that. It is considered important for governance for both government also, administration also, like this. In fact, it can work as a yardstick to evaluate performance of the government, ki how better constitution has been implemented. This you can say. And there are both evaluation if you do. The evaluation can be positive also and negative also. You can write positive achievements and you can write negative points, which will come. बहुत सारे बाद में भी बहुत सारी चीजें आएंगी, तो facts will come from that. This no, positive means कि what we have achieved. This yes, so we have free and fair elections. You can say, right? Democratic, free and fair election. Secular is declared as basic structure of the constitution. Welfare programs and schemes we have. This for the people, promotion of justice. You can see this harmony in the society. Let's say this. So that way you can say positive. Some laws, schemes, programs you can mention. Negatives you can mention. Let's say negatives related to, you can find that how misuse of law. Right, enforcement directorate, CBI, how let's say that fundamental rights are restricted, you can consider that aspect. This discrimination, polarization in society, bulldozer action, right, Manipur, lack of fraternity in society, conflicts. तो बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं ना, तो since we will deal later on all these things, you will be able to write some specific thing. This. However, still largely you should talk that yes, means this preamble, its values, so we can find that how governments have tried to incorporate in their policies, including आप थोड़ा positive bend करो, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. That way, let's say this. So that way it can be preamble part. Now, if you talk about the meanings, when we have talked meanings. The meanings, let's say sovereign. The meaning you know, sovereign का meaning आपको पता है. this the sovereign, democratic and republic. तो इसमें तो डील नहीं करना है, लेट्स से यू नो इट, स्पेसिफिक है, इसमें कोई इशू नहीं है. बट रिपब्लिक का मतलब सिर्फ ये नहीं होता है कि हेड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इज इलेक्टेड. रिपब्लिक का मतलब ब्रॉडर सेंस में ये भी होता है कि पावर शुड गो टू पीपल. दिस रिपब्लिकन सिस्टम ऑफ गवर्नेंस मीन्स पावर हैज गॉन टू पीपल. राइट. नो, डेमोक्रेसी मीन्स एन इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट. Right. Democracy is considered as right government which is elected by people. No, no. But try to understand. In democracy, let's say that you may have right to elect. You vote. It can be more of a ballot box democracy. Merely having voting right does not mean that power has gone to you. Power is an evolving phenomenon. It devolves to people. This you should know. The Republican means, let me say, Republic Village. महात्मा गांधी का क्या आइडिया था? विलेज रिपब्लिक कैसा होगा? क्या होगा, कैसा होगा वो ग्राम स्वराज? All are equal. All are equal. Right. Plus collectively means of production owned. You use economic resources as per your need and use surplus for those who are needy. Right. Community based life. So collectively you will take decisions. This is called village republic. Right. तो रिपब्लिक हैज ए ब्रॉडर मीनिंग. प्रीलिम्स में ये क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. रिपब्लिक का सिर्फ ये मतलब नहीं होता है कि हेड ऑफ द स्टेट शुड बी इलेक्टेड. दिस yes, and the term republic is more used in that sense rather than head of the elect getting elected. Right. No, it's not in that way. Right. That's why often you will hear in newspaper elsewhere republican system. Right. There should be republics. There should be a system, let's say republican system you can say. Republic way of governance you can say. The republic has a broader connotation. Yes, but वो सब आपको यहाँ नहीं लिखना है जब मीनिंग पूछ रहा है. It is just we told for understanding. Right. But तीनों में कोई कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं है. This democracy, sovereign, they are defendable also. Right. They are also. And yes, we have been trying to defend a bit of the question that was asked. So we are trying to defend strategic. Yes. Strategic autonomy, strategic sovereignty. Same. Right. So that way we can consider. So here you may have defended. Now basically question का context क्या था? Question का context था socialist और secular. Socialist and secular. Right. Are they defendable? This, that you have to know. The socialist and secular, they were added. This, they were added by 42nd Amendment. This, that you can. Now, socialist का meaning क्या है? Socialist means right. Welfare state. This welfare state you can consider. Elimination of backwardness you can consider. Supreme Court will say as decent standard of living. This, so Indira Gandhi will say that. Private and playing, let's say, a relevant role wherever it is possible. This you can say. So socialist, we can say that our socialism is mixed type, mix of what we can say, Gandhi and Marx. Our socialism is more close to Fabian socialism. This, the Fabian socialism is a socialism in which private property is also allowed, private role is also allowed, and state plays active role in elimination of backwardness, suffering, other things, socio-economic inequality, right, so that there is greater level of social justice. This, yes, so democratic socialism also we can consider. This Fabian socialism, its origin is, let's say that in UK, right? So some people they started, let's say that they allow freedom of people, let's say that. But if you find this, let's say Karl Marx, the Karl Marx, let's say that there will be no freedom of people, will not have freedom in that. This, that way you can say this. So democratic socialism, you can say that, and Fabian socialism, the more or less, let's say that they will be having similar aspect because they do allow freedom of people. But in Marxian socialism, means of production owned by the state, you don't have freedom. This, and you don't have property right, private property rights. You do not also enjoy private property rights. This, right? And Gandhian socialism is spiritual socialism, moral socialism. Right? Mahatma Gandhi believes more in moral aspect, sacrifice, moral duty. This you can say, right? And Marx was completely against. He is materialistic socialism. Right? So we have tried to combine both aspects, right? Right, because when he is saying that village republic, the village republic ऐसा होना चाहिए कि you should get resources as per your needs and surplus should be for community. Right. So how it is possible? Only when you are moral. Right. This, it is a moral aspect. That is how it is more ideal. It is ideal in one sense. It is also ideal in another sense. This. So we can say in general way that we combine both, right? This, so that can be considered, let's say, this social aspect. Secular, so it demands a separate discussion, let's say, if you find this. Anyhow, so there are issues related which will take largely tomorrow will take. Secular is, let's say that state should have no remain neutral. This, so that way we can consider. But we will deal separately. Then the question is why it was added. Why they were added. This. So they were added. We should know that for this political message. That government was committed for both socialism and secular. This bank nationalization. This गरीबी हटाओ. This तो सोशलिस्ट लेट्स से कि बेसिकली क्या था कि फियर इन पीपल, बेसिकली व्हेन गवर्नमेंट वेंट फॉर बैंक नेशनलाइजेशन, तो एक तरीके से लोगों में खासकर बिजनेस एक्सेट्रा लेट्स से कि इट वाज कि वेदर गवर्नमेंट हैज़ बिकम लाइक कि इट वांट्स टू गो लाइक कार्ल मार्क्स टाइप ऑफ सोशलिज्म. दैट्स व्हाई इंदिरा गांधी क्लैरिफाई कि नो, राइट, socialism in our country does not mean that we are going to, means we are not going to allow private sector. Private sector will exist wherever it would be possible, but government will enter wherever it would be possible. Then Garibi Hatao, basically government wanted to work as a messiah of poor people, a political message, you know that. So socialist, if you add there, it shows that government is very serious about social welfare. And that is how 20-point program was brought, that is called Garibi Hatao. This. Then secular government wanted to give a message because of, let's say, this called sterilization, you know that. That time when there was sterilization and Sanjay Gandhi and other, family planning, etc. Basically minority communities somehow, let's say, had developed apprehension. Right. Right. Yes? Yes, they had developed somehow apprehension, you know that. So that apprehension, other things the government tried to address and take a bit political, let's say that. Yes, it was more politically, let's say, it was more politically inclined. This political message, let's say that. But if you still talk political apart from political, its relevance is more of clarificatory, let's say this. It has clarificatory relevance. कौन बोलता है? Let's say if you talk in relevance part. So it is talked by Subhas Kashyap. Subhas Kashyap has told, he has criticized also, but he has told that its relevance if you take the clarificatory. That what is clarificatory? So when you have added terms socialist and secular, that they explicitly declare that India is a socialist and secular country since they were not included in the constitution. But it was unnecessary. क्रिटिसिज्म में क्या बोलते हैं? It was unnecessary. Kashyap. Right. He says it was unnecessary. This, and then D.D. Basu has also criticized. D.D. Basu. That was not needed. This. So then, does it bring any change in nature of constitution? Or do they bring any change? In nature of constitution? No. They don't bring any change. कौन कहता है? Supreme Court. In which case? Balram Singh. (2024). Yes. इनफ है इतना सारा लिखना जानना, राइट दिस। तो हालांकि टुमारो विल टेक इट, इसलिए कि थोड़ा ये डिबेटेबल है, सेकुलर थोड़ा सा टाइम डिमांड करता है, कुछ टॉपिक्स जो ऐसे हैं जो थोड़े टाइम डिमांड करते हैं। We will give some time to explain secular aspect. The socialist we will link also with DPSP, and we'll talk, let's say, that ki other aspects. Let's see socialism and new economic policy, other things. You read the notes, let's say, basically. This, and after preamble, basically we'll skip article 1 to 4. You read article 1 to 4 from notes. We'll also skip, let's say, 5 to 11, although I will mention some जो थोड़ा सा important है, I will mention that, but largely yes, we will skip that. आप इसमें पढ़ लो, इसमें से जो doubt होगा you can ask this way. So that way we will keep. Then finally we will start fundamental rights, that and the important case laws etc. No, तो थक गए आज? Yes. देखो आप समझ नहीं रहे हो, रिपब्लिक इज पार्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक ना, डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन विल रिजल्ट इनटू रिपब्लिक, right? Democratization is a process to achieve republic, right? Democratic republic is the end result. Democratization is the process. Yes. तो ऐसे पढ़ना है, ऐसे पढ़ोगे तो पॉलिटी आपका अच्छा मतलब हो जाएगा, मतलब जैसे कि द वे इट इज गोइंग, लेट्स से, एंड रिवीजन करना, चीज़ों को फोकस करना, सही अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप करना, दैट राइट। एंड वी होप कि वी विल कवर इट। 2 पेपर आपका तो काफ़ी स्ट्रांग कर दूंगा मैं, राइट, दिस पेपर 2nd एंड पेपर 4 ठीक है। एंड सिंस essay is also part of this, already we had 2 classes, right, and we'll have other classes, ठीक है। तो that way, तो hope online people may also have understood, you know. तो take this class more as revision. Our policy is that कि no doubt we'll have enough writing practice also. Policy is that कि by December you will be having coverage of all this, which by yourself study not possible. Right. Yes, so you will not be able to cover yourself. Yes, so that's why last year we started with this motive. 6 hours we cover the class in second half. First half is to you. The second half we start 2 o'clock, let's say. The second half you are giving, so by force you are studying 6 hours, 5 hours, by force, this way. So that way, let's say by force, so anyhow it will have lots of paying off, let's say that. Its outcome, we ensure that it will be much better by December. This is how it is. Yes, that is also, this will help also fill those knowledge gap for your prelims. This, yes, yes, let's say that. It will help fill those gaps, give confidence. Plus you will get lots of good facts and this.